Hello, I Ashok Vasudeva Jyotishacharya welcomes you and thank you very much for joining this astrology course run by the Astromatics publication. First of all, I want to explain why should you learn astrology and what exactly is the astrology. You will find so many quacks in the market. They are practicing astrology. This came up in my mind that at least the basics of astrology you must learn. You must know what exactly you are doing. If you go to a doctor and you say you got sinus, at least you know yourself what exactly the problem is with you. Though you don't know the technicalities, you don't know the medicine. But here in astrology, you must know yourself. And the basic aim of the astrology is to know yourself from your physical body, astral body, and your causal body. You know yourself much better than anybody else in the world. Even your mom and dad can't know you what exactly you are. Rig Veda has said, Yat Pinde Tat Brahmande, Yat Brahmande Tat Pinde. Whatever is available in the zodiac, right from the earth to the Saturn, as per the Vedic methodology, we say we take only the planets up to the Saturn which has created this world. You may call it a Big Bang theory when this zodiac was created by the nature, by the God, whatever you call it. But when this whole zodiac was created by the nature, the earth is the only planet where the life could be possible. And why this life could be possible? Vedas explained it very well. That the light of the planets, ultraviolet rays of the planet, and spiritually speaking, the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, you may call it God, G-O-D, God. One generates, one operates and one destroys. This is how this zodiac has come up. And why we believe in astrology? Because right from the earth to the Saturn, whatever the components are available in the whole zodiac is also available in the micro sense of your body also. This whole body is also the components of the available all chemicals and chemical combinations and metabolism, whatever it is. It may be earth, it may be fire, it may be iron, it may be gold, it may be anything. But that is available in your body. As per the Hindu mythology, philosophy, we call it as Deva. It means in the form of God. We call them as God. Are available in numbers like 33 crores. They are the power points, they are the components right from your toe, right from your nail of the feet to the last hair of your head. They are in you. And how to know? With what have you born? What qualities have you born? Exploiting all the resources given by the nature to you. Now, the question arises, how this astrology helps you in your life. The Lord Krishna, in the battlefield of Mahabharata, as per the Hindu epic, Lord Krishna guided Arjun what to do and what not to do in the battlefield to win and remove the sins on the earth, remove the sinners on the earth, and pave the way for a better life. What I have quoted it, astrology is your own Krishna. It guides you in different spheres of life, time to time, and gives you the options and the best option available to you, or the suitable option available with you to lead good home, material, spiritual, and every segment of life. This is the advantage of the astrology. Now, the question arises, is it a science or it's just pseudoscience, or we just believe it is a superstition? That's why I have started this course, and to tell you that in this course you will yourself realize how much is the correctness of astrology in your life, how much it equates your physical body, your physical power, your astral power, mind's power, and other segments of life. And when you know yourself that what exactly you are, the basic question in your life, what you are, what I am, and from where I have come from and where I have to go, what is the end aim of my life, and how I can fulfill those aims being imparted in me by the nature, by the God, the powers, and exploit the best and take the best result, so that I can do something for the earth, for the living beings, and for the human beings. Now you knew why we should learn astrology and what exactly is the aim of astrology. Now how do we start? How do we start calculating the powers inside you? Now the basics of astrology you must understand. How do we arrive at certain planetary positions and their effect on your body? First of all, see, all the planets are moving around the sun. They are moving around the sun, and every astronomical analysis, even the first class student understands it, that Earth is revolving around its axis, and all the planets including the Earth are also revolving around the sun. But what we do is, we take from the viewer's point of view on the Earth where we are stationed. So that is the necessity where we need longitude and latitude of the place. And after that, from that viewer's point of view, we take the path of sun as we see, not as it is. We see the path of sun. As you know, Earth is ecliptic. So we make a 360-degree ecliptic round of the path of the sun. It comes to 360 degrees ecliptic. Then we divide this ecliptic into 12 parts. Each part is that of the 30 degrees. And the first part, when it starts, we name it as Aries. And from Aries to different signs like Taurus, then Gemini, then Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, then Pisces. This completes the path of the sun into 360 degrees. That is the horoscope of a person. According to the date of birth of a person, according to the time of birth of the person, and the place of birth of the person, we see that at which point of time, when the sun was passing through which sign, according to the viewer's sign, we take it as the time of birth. And we call this as an ascendant, or the Lagna in Hindi. Means that is a point where that person was born. And that is the basics from where the astrology starts. And your body, your system, a human being, we call it as Kal Purush. This chart we make, it has got different forms of making charts. In India also, North India, we have a different chart, it is square. And in the south of India, it has got different parameters to see it. Likewise, in the east of India, it has got different. Making of the chart is different, but aim is the same. Positioning of the planets is also the same. In the Western astrology, they make the round charts and divide also the path of sun into 12 parts. So that basically we arrive at one horoscope and the signs where it is. After that, we see where the planets are. According to the time of birth of a person, we see at which latitude, longitude, and in which sign the planets were positioned at the time of the birth. So what we do, we put those planets in those particular signs arising from Aries to the Pisces. That makes a person's horoscope. Now, the most important part of it is, according to the Vedic astrology, is the moon, where the moon is. And in whichever sign the moon is positioned, we call it as Rashi or the moon sign. if the moon at that time was in transit, was in Pisces, so the Pisces is the moon sign of a person. If it is in Leo, it is the Leo moon sign of the person. This is how we position the planets in the horoscope. That is what we call the hypothetical methodology of arriving at the horoscope chart. We have discussed about the path of sun. That is to find out the ascendant under which the person was born. But according to the Vedic methodology, we take moon as the main planet to decide about your past, present and the future, which we called as the deeds you have done in your past birth and whatever you have brought with you as known as prarabdha, means the good or the bad deeds brought in by you in this birth. If we believe in astrology, we have to believe in it, that there was a previous birth and there will be a next birth too. Now, moon is taken as mana, which is called mind, and sun is taken as soul, which is the two systems available in your body known as the sympathetic and the parasympathetic systems rising from the navel to your Agya chakra between the two eyes, the one spot which you see. We call it as a power point. Now in the horoscope, what we have to find out that what exactly has been brought in known as the bhagya or muqaddar or as the fate which you have to face in your life, and what should you do to ward off those bad deeds and utilize the maximum deeds done by you, and what karma or the deeds you have to do in this birth to live better in this life. As has been said, know thyself to live better. If you know yourself, the qualities in you, the powers available in you, then you can live a better life. Now, how to find out the path of the moon? As we have already said, that we take as from the viewer's point of view that the planets move around us hypothetically. So we draw a hypothetical line as the path of moon. Now you can see the viewer is here. We have drawn an ecliptic line known as the path of sun. Now we draw another line, an ecliptic, in to 360 degrees, again ecliptic, known as the path of moon. Again we divide that 360 degrees into 12 parts, which is known as the Rashis. We have already told, starting from Aries to Pisces, and each Rashi is that of 30 degrees. Now we come to the conclusion that under which moon sign the person was born, and according to the path of moon where the planets were stationed at the time of the birth of the child. When we divide the one sign into 30 degrees, as per the Vedic methodology, we divide again into 28 parts, all 12 signs, 360 degrees, which is known as the nakshatra or the constellation under which the child was born. Each constellation is that of 13 degree and 20 minutes. If we see the first sign, Aries, which is of 30 degrees, then we further divide that sign into 13 degree 20 minutes of one constellation known as nakshatra, and the first nakshatra in the zodiac has been named as Ashwini. Now this Ashwini nakshatra in the sign Aries, when we see the sign Aries, the constellation behind, the place where we have kept Aries are looking like an Aries, that we can minutely watch through binoculars. The constellations behind are Aries, but the 13 degree 20 minute one segment is known as Ashwini as the first nakshatra. The second nakshatra again of 13 degree 20 minutes known as Bharani, again 13 degree 20 minutes. Now this total becomes 26 degrees and 40 minutes. Now the third part of the nakshatra, the one segment of the nakshatra known as Kritika of 3 degree and 20 minutes also falls in the sign Aries. The remaining 10 degrees goes to the next sign known as Taurus, and if we see the constellation behind the Taurus will look like a bull that you can watch. Now again we have to take 30 degrees in that sign, divide by the nakshatras. So the next nakshatra, Rohini, goes 13 degrees and 20 minutes again in the sign Taurus. Now this total becomes 23 degree and 20 minutes. Now the next nakshatra, Mrigashira, 6 degrees and 40 minutes in the sign of that nakshatra, again 6 degrees 40 minutes, and we have to take 13 degree and 20 minutes again. That part goes to the sign again Taurus. In the sign Taurus, 10 degrees have come from the Kritika nakshatra. Now the next nakshatra we take as Rohini. This is 13 degree 20 minutes full nakshatra comes into the sign Taurus. This total becomes 23 degrees and 20 minutes. Now we have to fulfill the total quantity of 30 degrees in one nakshatra. So the remaining is 6 degrees and 40 minutes. Of the next nakshatra known as Mrigashira, this 6 degree 40 minutes goes to Taurus, and 6 degree 40 minutes again transits next to the sign Gemini. Now 6 degree 40 minutes we have taken there. Now remaining the next two nakshatras are in the sign Gemini. That is 30 degrees 20 minutes goes to Ardra, and 10 degrees goes to Punarvasu. The next sign comes Cancer. Here the three more nakshatras, Punarvasu, Pushya and Ashlesha. Now it's 3 degree and 20 minutes of this nakshatra goes to the next sign Cancer, 3 degrees and 20 minutes. Now the next nakshatras Pushya and Ashlesha of 13 degree 20 minutes each goes to the sign Cancer. This completes the first segment of 4 signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, the nakshatras starting from Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrigashira, Ardra, Punarvasu, Pushya and Ashlesha. Now comes the next segment of the ecliptic. Now the next sign comes Leo. In Leo also we get the first nakshatra known as Magha, 13 degrees 20 minutes. Then the next nakshatra 13 degrees 20 minutes, Purva Falguni. Now 3 degrees and 20 minutes goes to Uttar Falguni nakshatra, remains in the sign Leo, and 10 degrees go to the next sign known as Virgo. Now the remaining 10 degrees of the nakshatra Uttar Falguni transits to the next sign Virgo. Now the next nakshatra 13 degree 20 minutes of Hasta nakshatra comes in the sign Virgo. Now 13 plus 10 degree becomes 23 degrees and 20 minutes, and the remaining 6 degrees and 40 minutes goes to the nakshatra Chitra, and 6 degrees and 40 minutes goes to the next sign Libra. Now again 13 degrees and 20 minutes of the next nakshatra Swati remains in the sign Libra, and 13 degrees plus 60 degree and 40 minutes becomes 20 degrees, and 10 degrees of the next nakshatra Vishakha also remains in the sign Libra. Now the 3 degree and 20 minutes of the nakshatra Vishakha goes to the sign Scorpio. Now the next two nakshatra Anuradha and Jyeshtha, both having 13 degree and 20 minutes, remains in the sign Scorpio. Now this completes your 2 segments of the whole zodiac, rather 2/3 of the whole zodiac, starting from Aries to Cancer and from Leo to Scorpio. Now comes the next segment, the third part of the ecliptic, hypothetically drawn by us. In the sign Sagittarius, the first nakshatra is called Mula of 13 degree and 20 minutes. The second nakshatra is called Purvashad, again 13 degree and 20 minutes. and remaining 3 degrees and 20 minutes are ruled by Uttarashada, and the 10 degrees of the Uttarashada goes to the sign Capricorn. After that, 13 degree 20 minutes ruled by the nakshatra Shravan, and this total comes to 23 degrees and 20 minutes, and the remaining 6 degree 40 minute is ruled by Dhanishta, and Dhanishta again 6 degree and 40 minutes of the remaining nakshatra goes to the sign Aquarius, and after that 13 degree 20 minutes are ruled by Satvisha nakshatra, and this 13 degree 20 minutes and 6 degree 40 minutes comes to 20 degrees, and 10 degrees of the remaining nakshatra Purv Bhadrapad stationed in the sign Aquarius. Now the remaining 3 degree and 20 minutes of the Purv Bhadrapad, now Uttar Bhadrapad and Revati consumes the remaining 13 degree 20 minutes in the sign Pisces. This completes the total occupation of the nakshatras in the eclectic drawn by us on the moon sign. From the path of sun and from the path of moon, we have drawn 360 degrees ecliptic in the zodiac from the viewer's point of view. When we see the viewer, then we cast his horoscope according to the placement of the planets. First of all, we will discuss what are the houses. Always when we see the top of the top part, a one square we have drawn is called as the first house. The houses we count as anti-clockwise. It moves anti-clockwise from house number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Don't confuse yourself between the houses and the Rashis. Ascendant can be any from Aries to Pisces, also named as Rashi number 1 to 12. But when we say houses, always the house starts from the number 1, which we have declared as house number 1. Now, if we see our body, right from the face to our feet, we call it as the Kal Purush, or a complete human being. From the first house, we see the face. From the second house, we see the throat. And from the third house, we see the right arm, and so on. And when we come to the seventh part, we see from the seventh part as our genital parts. And from the eighth house, we take as rectum. And from the ninth house, we take our thighs. And from the 10th house, we take our knees. And from the 11th house, we take as our calves. And from the 12th house, we take as our feet. So this completes the picture of a complete human being and the parts of the body seen from the different houses. This is how we have done the bifurcation of a human being. As I told you before, that this is a complete pind, or this is a complete human being, this is a complete body of a human being. Now, from the first house, what I have told you, we take as your face. So this becomes your personality. When we go to the second house, I told you it is throat. So we take as the speech. And the third house, when I say it is your right arm, then I say it is your vitality. And fourth house, when I say it is your chest, then I say it is your mother. And fifth house, when I say it is your liver, pancreas, your most important part of the body, without which the nothing secretes on this earth. So we call it as your children. And from the sixth part, maybe your enemies, your maternal uncles. And from the seventh part, we take as husband and wife, and also your life partner. Eighth house, we take as ancestors, your ancestors. From where have you come from? And from the 9th house, it is your Bhagyasthan, the fate, the karma. And 10th house is a house of profession. And 11th house is a house of gains. And 12th house is a house of loss. From the one house, we take at least 15,000 aspects of the different life. As I say, first house is your personality. It can be your eyes, it can be your personality, it can be your brain, it can be your power, and so many different things. This all we have explained. How many Kartattvas or how many significators are we taken from the different houses. Now, we have given you the name of the Rashis, of the 12 Rashis or the zodiac signs emanating from Aries to the Pisces. Now these signs are also given for the matter of convenience as the numbers. Aries is number 1, Taurus is number 2, Gemini is number 3, Cancer is number 4, Leo is number 5, Virgo is number 6, Libra is number 7, Scorpio is number 8, Sagittarius is number 9, Capricorn is number 10, Aquarius is number 11, and Pisces is number 12. These are the 12 zodiac signs named and also numbered accordingly. Don't get confused with the houses and the number of the signs. Both have different significations and both have different parameters to look in when we come to the predictive part of the astrology. Now, after that, we come to the planets in the zodiac. As per the Vedic methodology, we take the planets only from Earth to the Saturn. There are planets which are called the inner planets and the outer planets. Inner planets are which are between the Earth and the Sun. The inner planets are Mercury and Venus. The outer planets start from the Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. And of course, the moon, which always revolves around the Earth, is also taken as a planet, though it is not called a planet. So this is your 7 planets which are revolving around the Sun, but we take it as, from the viewer's point of view, revolving around you, as we have seen and put in the ecliptic hypothetically drawn by us. There are 2 more planets which are called the Chaya Graha, or the hypothetical points of the ascending and descending node of the moon. When we come to the calculative part, we will explain you how this Rahu, the dragon's head, and the Ketu, dragon's tail, are calculated for the calculation purposes. Now these 9 planets have got significance of the signs also. Every sign is denoted by a planet. Likewise, Aries, the lord of Aries is Mars. The lord of Taurus is Venus. The lord of Gemini is Mercury. The lord of Cancer is Moon. The lord of Leo is Sun. Lord of Virgo is Mercury. Lord of Libra is Venus. Lord of Scorpio is Mars. Lord of Sagittarius is Jupiter. Lord of Capricorn is Saturn. Lord of Aquarius is again Saturn. Lord of Pisces is again Jupiter. For the matter of convenience and to remember it by heart, how would you take as the easiest way? Sign number 1 and 8, that is Aries and Scorpio, ruled by Mars. 2, 7 means Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. Sign number 3 and 6, that is Gemini and Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Sign number 4, Cancer, ruled by Moon. 9 and 12, ruled by Jupiter. And sign number 10 and 11, that is Capricorn and Aquarius, are ruled by Saturn.